Okay, hello and welcome to the video. My name is Wade Smith, and this video is my personal opinion about the potential of the United States government being on the brink of a collapse or some sort of major change is going to be necessary. And I commented that you owe an impossible amount of tax. In fact, the federal debt is actually so high that every man, woman, and child of any age in the United States owes somewhere between $80,000 and $90,000 in taxes to pay the federal debt. Because whether or not you realize it, a federal debt is an implied tax liability. And obviously, virtually nobody who lives in the US can afford to pay that much taxes, but it's owed by someone to the lenders, namely the banks and the bondholders and so forth. Uh, all right. So who's going to pay this back? You know, for you non-math majors, that would mean that every adult in the U.S. owes about $160,000 to the federal government. Of course, it's never going to get paid. So eventually, the banks and others are going to stop lending to the government, and then the government is just going to stop functioning altogether. At which point, we're going to have anarchy or some kind of government collapse, or God forbid, a totalitarian dictator will take over. Hopefully, it's not Trump. Um, I mean, because you know, Trump got falsely accused of insurrection last time when he, in fact, told the crowd of idiot people to, quote, protest peacefully on at least two occasions during the speech. And then a few minutes later, the crowd stormed the Capitol building without him telling them to, even though he got falsely accused of inciting that rebellion. But then, what pissed me off is that Trump later pardoned most of the people who were involved in the rebellion. So maybe he should have been impeached. Hell if I know. Um, but he technically did not do what he was accused of doing. But then he turned around and defended the people who rioted anyway. So I'm pissed off either way against Donald Trump, and I'm pissed off at our entire government for being so incompetent anyway to allow this all to happen. Uh, like they wouldn't remove Joe Biden from office, even though he was obviously nearly comatose, and was also has now since been proven to have been having his documents auto penned for him because he was unable to sign his own name on a piece of paper. But they wouldn't remove him from office. And then before all that happened, Barack Obama, we all know this, by the way, but most people don't seem to realize it was a crime, a high crime of treason, actually. Barack Obama armed terrorists in Syria and other nations, and those same terrorists turned around and killed Christians and Jews and beheaded them on worldwide television, and he didn't do a thing about it. That is rebellion and insurrection. That he armed terrorists. Talk about screwed up that the president armed terrorists in other nations that then rose up against us and killed our own people and our allies. And the Congress did absolutely nothing about it. So there's some kind of major shift coming in this country that's going to have to come where, first of all, we're going to actually have to have a rational government that actually obeys its own laws. And we're going to have to pay this debt somehow, legally, and without starting another war. I don't claim to be an expert or something like that, but It is preposterous how screwed up the United States government has become. I can't stand either political party. Right now, I'm registered as a Republican only because of the moral principle that at least the Republicans oppose most forms of abortion, and at least they oppose LGBTQ nonsense, and at least they claim to believe in God and oppose atheism. I don't know if they actually do, but at least they have those three things going for them. But I got to where I cannot vote for a Democrat, period, even though I actually agree with some of their fiscal policies. But because most Democrats in this country are actually atheists now, I'm not voting for them.